was yet another emergency day during my third year of residency. I was desperately waiting for 8 a.m. next morning to arrive to study for my final MD exams. But at sharp 8 a.m. next morning, Amita arrived, convulsing, bleeding, and deathly pale. She was suffering from complications of pregnancy-induced hypertension. I wish I can stand here and say that the first thought of my unit was, how best could we save her life? But no, it was, will the next unit take her in over? And when they refused, saying that she'd arrived at sharp 7:59 a.m., our next thought was, there goes our next 12 to 24 hours. And this after 24 hours of emergency duty and no sleep. We managed to save her life. We banished all thoughts of ourselves and dipped into our deepest reserves of strength to save her. But in the end, I was only left with questions I wasn't ready to face at that time. And then I met Kumud in my lecturer's post at Sion Hospital. She was brought in at 1 a.m. in the night by the police. She had been picked up from the streets, derelict, screaming in pain from the labor she was in torn, cold, filthy clothes, matted, dirty hair, and smelling from days of being unwashed. No one knew her story, but it was obvious it was so horrific she was crazed by it. It was a Herculean effort to save her and her baby's life, and in the end, we were just glad it was over. Worried about her child's future, the social services at the hospital, in fact, trying to find placement in an adoption service for her baby, but failed. 6 months later, this happy little lady, dressed in a bright red sari, carrying a sweet, smiling, bonny baby girl, came to meet me in the postnatal OPD. I wondered where I had seen her. She smiled and said, "Remember me? Kumud?" Kumud had found her purpose in her baby, a purpose that led her to, in 6 short months, get out of depression, forget a lifetime of abuse and neglect, get a job, a room in a small slum, and actually dream of her life. I went home that night to questions I'd avoided until then. Yes, by saving Kumud's baby, we had transformed her life. But this, in all honesty, was without intending to do so. Had I, in the years of medical training, become a master technician who saw the human body as a set of organs in some disease state that I had to treat, and thus reduced medicine to only a practice? Had I lost touch with the humanistic side of medicine that would have let me see the transformational nature of what we did for Kumud right when we were delivering her baby? Had I lost the joy in giving, in serving? Yet, a strong desire to serve was what compelled me towards picking medicine as a career. So what happened along the way to dull the idealism? I thought of Amita and patients like her. I faced the emotion I thought I was incapable of: apathy. But what about the extreme rush of patients, the sleeplessness, the difficult living conditions? Where was there time to empathize with our patients, hold their hands through often very difficult treatments, and understand their deepest fears? I realized then that this was rationalization, one that let me blame the system and walk away from what I could do to be the best possible doctor. And what did that mean to me, being the best possible doctor? That I had performed 10,000 hysterectomies by the end of my career? That I had earned a comfortable living? Yes, by performing those 10,000 hysterectomies well, I did impact that individual patient's life in a positive manner. And as a urogynecologist, I'm already working towards that goal. But helping that one patient, even in the dying state, did not impact that one issue that bothered me often. The reasons women and children were dying when I entered MBBS were still prevalent almost 12 years later when I left for US for higher studies. Yes, these were rooted in deep-seated systemic problems. But was it important that I worked on those problems if I truly cared for my patients and wanted to prevent their deaths? Especially because when I put my mind to it, I could think of simple, effective, scalable solutions for some of these problems. Take the case of Amita, the first patient. Amita almost died, but she did not have to. In the 4th month of pregnancy, she had actually gone to the neighboring hospital to access care. But because of the extreme rush of patients, the nurse had no time to counsel her or to tell her why it was necessary to come back for regular care. Amita never went back and almost died. It struck me then, Amita maybe had a phone. Maybe we could have used the phone to reach her with crucial information when she needed it. Wouldn't that have prevented her situation altogether? And the beauty of the phone is there are more phones in India than toilets. We could use the phone to reach across to millions of women quickly in a cost-effective manner. That led to the idea of M-Mitra, Mobile Mitra, a weekly automated voice call service that sends timed and targeted preventive care information directly to the phones of the enrolled women in their chosen time slot and language, holding their hands through pregnancy and infancy, something I had never done before. What was I waiting for? Why couldn't I do it myself? And so I founded my NGO, Arman, which works in the field of mother and child health. And our first project, Mobile Mitra, started. I'm very happy to tell you now that every woman who attends the antenatal OPD of Sion Hospital now gets M-Mitra as a part of her antenatal care. And not only that, now M-Mitra is getting scaled up to reach across to more than 1 million urban poor women in all the municipal hospitals and all the slums of Mumbai city and other cities over the next 3 years. Phone Sakhi is a rural voice call and animation service being implemented in 3 districts of rural Maharashtra. But there were more issues to address. In Mumbai, both during personal medical emergencies and mass disasters, precious minutes can be lost running from hospital to hospital trying to find an ICU bed of blood of the required type. Minutes that could mean the difference between life and death. Our next project, Hero, Helpline for Emergency Response Operations, will provide real-time updated information about availability of ICU beds and blood in all the hospitals and all the blood banks of Mumbai city through a phone number, an SMS auto-reply system, a website, and a mobile app. 10 private hospitals and Sion Hospital have come on board Hero, and we need your help to make Hero a citizens' movement to ensure that all hospitals and blood banks of Mumbai city come on board Hero, a vital service for us Mumbaikars. Arman's next 2 projects are also based in pervasive problems I witnessed during residency. In the Arogya Sakhi home-based care project, we convert village women into health entrepreneurs, providing home-based care during pregnancy and infancy, including performing diagnostic tests. And in the mobile-based mother and child high-risk factor tracking system, we hope to track every pregnant woman and child with high-risk factors in the villages we work in, so as to ensure care. Arman had humble beginnings. The initial 3 years were extremely difficult with lack of access to funding and seemingly insurmountable odds in a healthcare space populated by the big multinational NGOs. But Kumud, in finding her purpose, had helped me find my Arman, my single-minded purpose in life. Arman finally hit its stride in 2011 when out of 600 applications from all over the world, M-Mitra won the People's Choice Award at the Saving Life from Birth event at Washington, D.C. And now, we have more than 25 passionate people working towards our goal that no mother or child die for want of care. I'm very lucky that I have Arman. But even if Arman had not materialized, Kumud, through transformation, had taught me that at every point in my life, I did not have to compromise. I did not have to let my immediate compulsions cloud the larger story my life could become, and that at every point I could make the more truer, more humane choice. I would like to finally take this stage to thank Kumud and patients like her I was fortunate enough to meet at Sion Hospital. And I pray from the bottom of my heart that you find the Kumuds of your life.